Okay, the next thing we're going to tackle is how to create text in Final Cut Pro. A lot of times you'll be using text for lower thirds or for opening titles, and I just want to show you how Final Cut Pro can actually generate some text. Look at your viewer window and you'll notice in the bottom right hand corner of the viewer window there is a little tab that has an A on it. Okay, this is your generators tab, and when I click it there's some interesting things down here, like for instance bars and tones, mats, render of shapes and so forth, slugs, and there's even this one for text. Okay, we'll look at the other ones above later, but for now we're interested in not crawling, not lower thirds, outlines, scroll, but just regular old text. Okay, when I select that, nothing much happens besides just a blank sample text box in the window. You'll notice too that it automatically defaults to a 10-second duration of text, which might be longer than what you want. So I might just go ahead right now and take that in half just by double clicking this and changing that to 5 seconds or 500 and hitting enter. I've just now changed the duration of that text to 5 seconds. Alright, now when it's kind of hard to look at text and change it at the same time. You'll notice the tabs at the top, the control tabs. This is really where all the features are to control what the font is going to look like, the style, color, all that stuff. Okay, but what I don't like really doing is editing the font without being able to see it. Okay, so I'm first just going to take it and drag it down to the timeline. Okay, and sure enough, now when I see the sample text over here, I can see it now. So before I start to edit it though, I have to double click it in the timeline to load it back into the viewer. So you'll notice now it says viewer text from sequence 1 as opposed to just saying viewer text. Okay, now that I've double clicked it, when I go back in here and I click on size, for instance, you can see how the size is changing to the right in the canvas window. Alright, so what I'm going to have you guys do right now is just go ahead and type in your name. And as soon as you hit return or click back in the timeline, you'll see that that's been updated now and you can see it. Okay, you can also change the font. Font I think that works pretty well is the Arial Black, which is right here. Okay, it's a nice thick font, very easy to see. You can change the size, as I mentioned. You can change bolding. You can change color. One thing you want to be aware of with color is watching for contrast, making sure that you choose things of high contrast. If you click OK, it automatically changes it. Okay, there's even tracking that you can do. Okay, you'll notice that some of these actually have keyframe lines, right? So these I can actually animate over time. I can change the aspect, right? These are kind of fun because you can animate these and have them bounce in. Okay, but that's simply, right, I have created a piece of text and added it to my window. One thing you do want to be aware of, and part of the reason when I resize it, is this blue boxes that are set up right here. I got these by going to the overlays window in the canvas and I selected title safe. I'll turn it off. That's what it looks like without it on. This is what it looks like with it on. Why this is important is that sometimes with different size TVs your text can show up outside of a particular area, and if it does, it gets cut off. So for instance, if my size was like this, where it's clearly outside of that blue box, depending on what TV I was showing it on, it might actually get cut off. So that's why they call this inside box the title safe box. Make your font always just inside those boundaries and then you'll never have to worry about it getting cut off. And that's the basics of creating text. So create your name and make it just big enough so that it's inside the lines of title safe.